Good morning, everyone, and welcome to the On Time, On Target morning brief. Today is Friday, August 28th, and thanks so much for showing up this morning. If anybody's out there catching it on replay, thank you for checking us out. You can get a free trial in the room. Contact me at steve@ototnow.com or go through the website there. And we'd love to have you. Basically, we get a bunch of us together in the morning. We bounce off investing ideas off each other, and I will answer any questions you have. What you don't see in the replay is there's an entire chat room over there. So off to the side that's not being recorded. That's how people communicate with me. And then of course we talk about everything they bring up. There's also a live Q&A session where you can vote on which topics are the most important this morning. And then I will go through and answer all of those. And then, of course, at the end of it all, I have a question of the day. We do use call signs here because this is a fighter pilot style briefing. So I don't really care who you are, and nobody else does else in the room either. So pick a cool name, and that's what you use in the room. And so that's what I have for you. Hopefully you'll check us out. All right, the rest of it's a fighter pilot style morning brief to get yourself up and ready to go for the day. So our mission objectives for today are to grow our money, protect our money, and live off our money. Today, specifically, tactically, we're going to look at beverage stocks and the ETF that goes with it. Basically, these are, you know what I like as far as investments, as far as high margin. We were talking liquid syrup. We got Predator in the room talking about a nice cold diet, Mountain Dew. I have a Monster Energy drink, one of the names we'll take a look at today. So yeah, we'll even look at coffee a little bit. Starbucks is a name we'll look at too. So we'll take a look at that and whether that's something you should put your capital behind as far as an investment. And the question of the day that I will get to, won't talk too long on this, but really what is a paper trading account? And the better question is, why would you use one? And we'll talk to that. Okay, as far as the flow, we're going to go long, short, open, short, long. We're going to start with a market review around the world so we can talk about what is going on out there. And then we will do a headline review, again, with what's predominantly going on here in the United States. For long-term investments, we talked about G-Bill yesterday. We'll simply talk about our beverage stocks, which are going to be Coke, Pepsi, Dr. Pepper, Keurig Dr. Pepper, by the way, Monster Energy drink, and Starbucks, and then also have an ETF for you that we will look at specifically. Once we get within about 10 minutes of the market open, we're going to switch to day trading opportunities. Again, our particular strategy that we use here is a gap and go strategy, looking for 5 to 10% either gapping up or down, and then continuing to take the stock in that direction. Meaning, if it's gapping up, we're going to go long, and if it's gapping down, we'll go short. I would more prefer to do shorts than longs, but we'll take what the market gives us. That's what we do on a daily basis. If you have any issues, contact me at steve@otot.now, and we'll be able to handle them real time. And the standard disclaimer applies. Information here is an educational presentation, so you have to do your own due diligence before you act on anything you listen to me talk about this morning. All right, with that, let's go ahead and head up to TD Ameritrade for the first platform that I will show you. What we take a look at here is a chart of the S&P 500. This is a one-year chart. Again, it puts all these AI lines in here that match some trends. So you can see all of these, of course, the big run up into February. We had the big sell-off due to COVID-19. We had exactly a V-shaped recovery, which is still being argued for some reason, all the way off to new highs. So really couldn't ask for more as far as the year shaping up, basically still in a pandemic. I think we are, right? Nobody's talking about it much anymore. But you see that, folks now that are talking to me, I'm putting out a thank you to clients tonight because many folks are reaching out saying, I cannot believe my portfolio is at this size. Well, I will tell you, when you can get a market drop of 35%, that's like the store down the road running the everything's on sale kind of deal, closing, fire sales going on left and right, 35% off, and then basically that's a 50% move up. So now not anybody out there, bought everything back at the low and has held it all the way through. But for the most part, if you're being a smart, disciplined investor, you are not only in the green on the year, but you could be well into the green if you picked up some no-brainers like Amazon down here. And if you're silly enough to buy into Tesla, then of course the Tesla is just incredible. We're looking at on Tesla Over 2,300 this morning. Just goes up. It will not always go up, but basically it just goes up. So when you take a look at the Qs, which again is your NASDAQ, if I can spell it correctly, that's 3 Qs. 1, 2, 3. There we go. Look where, here was the previous high at the 239 level, basically, and it's up, what, another 10% above that. So pretty much the work from home environment has brought out all kinds of investments as far as the, technology that can basically bring your work to your home office, which that's what you see behind me. This is my home office. Those are my studio lights over this shoulder. Again, that building everything out here at home, because I worked from home before working home was cool. So welcome everybody else to that plan. All right, let's go back to the SPY on this, and then we will talk about how the last 5 days have shaped up. So zooming in a little bit here, here's our last 5 days. So here you have, this was last Friday, and then breaking for the week, and then on into Monday. What do? We go straight up. And then, oh, well, we weren't actually straight up yesterday. There was a little bit of red. What? Red in the market. Can you believe it? Yeah, just a little bit. But then futures are back higher. And of course, we're setting up for a big up day today. There's a lot of euphoria, in the news coming out of the conventions, back-to-back weeks of conventions. There's also all kinds of good headlines about COVID-19. And now we have a $5 test. And all right, $5 test, find out the result in 15 minutes. Well, it sounds like we're getting back to normal operations around here. And, flu season coming up, go get your flu shot. Maybe we are back in charge of our lives and COVID-19 is not. So we shall see. All right, as far as the earnings calendar this morning, let's see. I'm going to go out and looking off at a different screen this morning to see what we had. Workday last night, it's a big name I like. They crushed earnings. See who else. Coke beat earnings. That's why I was going to do the beverage stocks this morning. So a little bit quiet on the earnings front. Most of that was last night. Let's see if we can find the KO. Don't see it. Must have been last night. So, all right, some things. And then, of course, nothing after this and on Friday afternoon. So it'll be a little bit quiet. All right, let's take a look down now at CNBC.com. We'll get that shared out to you. And check out our futures. Quick refresh as I bring the numbers back to the top. So here's what we're looking at this morning. Barely in the green. Again, earlier this morning, the Dow was up over 200. So kind of selling off, if you will, into the open. We saw that a little bit yesterday. We'll see what today holds. All right. Let's go around the world real quick. Checking out the European markets. Pretty well, not only mixed, but pretty well flat. Those are, the biggest number there is the 0.25%. So pretty calm for a Friday. We're mixed over in Asia. China up, Japan down. Japan's, here it is right there. Abe is going to resign due to health issues. He's been in the chair for a while, but yeah, little change, not a big deal. But again, markets don't like change, i.e. there's a big election coming up. So that's what we can expect to see over here is a little bit of a sell-off, but you're seeing that in Japan. All right, here are our numbers from yesterday. Again, the NASDAQ down a little bit and the S&P up a little bit, but really when you look at volatility was increased pretty decent. That's been around 22. It's up to 25. I have a long vol trade going on myself. I use VXX, and looking at in the room, at least one of you has that, maybe two. We shall see. Good morning, Burner. I just saw you checked in there. So we will see. I think volatility is actually going to continue. So that is something we will look at on our day trading stuff. If the market just goes screaming long, if it's a rip your face off Friday, those, long or short volatility is one of the ways to go. All right, get out of the Zoom thing I have there and go back to a normal view. All right, so we were looking at US. Now we'll look at bonds. 0.734%. You saw the big speech yesterday, or maybe not, but the headlines basically from Powell's speech, instead of it crushing the markets with a bunch of craziness, really the speech amounted to, hey, to avoid deflation, we're going to basically keep interest rates lower longer. So when you say lower longer, what does that mean? Well, coming out of 2007 and 2009, we kept interest rates low till 2018. So that was 9 years. So Really? Oh, hey, thanks for the pre-happy birthday thing. I like that. Um, the when you keep interest rates lower for longer, that means lower for longer than 9 years. That's like already our plan. So what am I saying to you? We're talking 2030 before interest rates get off of zero. That's kind of crazy. So you don't need to be in a hurry to refi your house, because guess what? We're going to be here for a long time, and I do think that there's a few reasons we'll be here for a long time. But with that, you also do want inflation to tick up a little bit. Again, the Fed targets 2% a year. So the Treasury is, basically digesting the policy change. Hopefully, we get the 10-year back above 1%. All right, oil, a little bit of a move up, not much there. Again, what was it? Laura hitting landfall. It wasn't as bad as we thought, so that's pretty good. In the green across the board on the precious metals. Again, those generally flow. That's when money flows out of equities and bonds into precious metals and things like Bitcoin. All right, let's come back over here to the main page. Best August since 1986. Yeah, that was not yesterday, right? So that's been a long time. At the beginning of August, I went risk off, so I was a little bit early there in retrospect. But August and September are generally kind of not down months, but they're the lowest two performing months out of the 12. So, crazy move up and new records in August. So continuing 2020's craziness of the year. Let's see, Ulta popped 14%. That's off of earnings. Talked about Abe resigning. I did not catch the speech from Trump last night, but I bet you I know what it says. All right. Again, if you saw the Facebook accused Apple of a bunch of different techie kind of stuff, but Apple's fighting back on that. Let's see, 1,800 electric vans from Mercedes for deliveries. Again, we're into workhorse, so that's where we're expecting the Postal Service contract to come out. So good for Mercedes for locking that down. Got a downgrade in DraftKings. I did not see the stock this morning to see if it got hit off of that. That's something we will check out, though, on a downgrade. It's kind of been on fire. All right. You saw that pro sports are starting to return. There was one baseball game that was a walk-off last night in protest of the social unrest. However, I think all the NBA stuff is back on for today. There's Coke. Again, that's why I talked about the beverage stocks this morning. That's why we'll go into them. Again, looking for voluntary job cuts, much like the airlines. They're giving packages out to folks to be able to walk away to reduce their operating expenses. Okay, here is interesting. So if we are at, and Kramer talked about this last night on Mad Money, if we truly are at a point where we have a $5 test out there where you can get the results in 15 minutes, if all that works, that's darn close to, it's not a vaccine, but it's a lot closer to making the whole system a lot more normal than having to pay $150 for a test and not getting your results for days, sort of thing. So a normalization. So if there's also combined with a vaccine breakthrough, he was saying that's the time to hop into airline stocks and cruise liners. I don't know. I hate those things long term, but we may hold either swing trade where you buy something, hold it for a month or two. I don't know. Generally, it's tough for me to actually, click the mouse and buy things like that. So we'll see. But there's probably some money to be scalped out of that. 75%, yeah, blah, blah, blah. That's going to be your mainstream headline, is that this will be a Biden landslide victory. That's all you're going to see in the press, right? Same thing with Clinton back in 2016. We won't know till we have the results, but certainly the headlines will, and the market will likely price in a Biden win eventually. It certainly hasn't yet, but then, that's why I think the market will sell off a little bit. There's the game we talked about, Mets and Marlins. Again, they showed up, put a Black Lives Matter t-shirt on home plate, and then walked off. So exercising their rights to protest at work, I guess. All right. Yeah, the second stimulus check, I don't know if that's coming, or the second stimulus package. It certainly died on the agenda. Nobody's talking about it anymore. Tragic impasse. Okay, well, I guess if we can't agree, there will not be one. All right, that is good enough for the headlines. Let's transition over into the beverage stocks. First of all, the big one out there, Coke. You can kind of see had the big sell off from 60 down to below 40. Really hasn't recovered a whole lot. So that's kind of surprising when it's been left behind. When you think of big names out there that are left behind, look at the 3.4% as far as your dividend. So this would be more of the protect your money kind of thing. You could go into large position. If you think the market's going to sell off, you can go into large position in Coke and Pepsi, things like that. Collect the dividend while you wait. They're reasonably priced, if you will. But certainly you've got that high margin product out there, gross margin 60%. That's not, you only see that in tech and a few things like beverage companies. No, very little short float. Nobody's really betting long term against Coke. They may not think, hey, sugar water is the way to go in the future, but certainly they're going to be around to stay. And then, of course, that has not had the performance. It's still down on the year, which again, a lot of names are not only up but well up for the year. So not right for everybody. If you're a younger investor and you're looking for a long-term position, this is really not for you. But if you're an older investor looking to more protect your money and gain the dividend along the way, then Coke can be correct. All right, let's go over to the other beverage stocks. Share the Schwab screen out to you. So here's what we've got over here. We've got Coke in the upper left. We've got Pepsi in the upper right. Keurig Dr. Pepper, again, a little bit of a exposure to coffee there as well. And you can see, Pepsi basically mirrors Coke. I think Pepsi is a little stronger and they own a few more names. Let's see, Frito-Lay is obviously under Pepsi. So a lot of other names under Pepsi, if you will. Keurig Dr. Pepper, you can see just due to the coffee exposure, I think, is taking it again off to the new highs. And when you look at things like Monster Energy, they're trying a lot of new things. So there's the CBD infused drinks or whatever you can legally produce. They're trying stuff like that. So kind of more of your cutting edge, think technology combined with drinks. So that's why they're up higher. I wouldn't buy them here. I don't think that's a name of the future, but it certainly has bounced more. So if we saw another sell-off where everything brought down significantly, then that's where you could come and ride the bounce back up. Starbucks is one of those names that has really not gotten a lot of love either since the sell-off. And again, the thinking there is Starbucks, high margin, addictive product. You've got all that, but it's the social gathering part of it, social distancing, I should say. The other half of that is that Starbucks was a place to go hang out. I and students and a bunch of other people, you grab your laptop, you head to Starbucks and turn it into like a 2-hour kind of deal while you're hanging out. Again, hanging out has not been a thing. So that's why the stock has not recovered fully. So expect, though, that would be a name to get back into if we can actually go about our normal lives at some point. FTXG is an ETF version of this. It's food and drink. So there's the food in there as well, but includes all of these as well as many of your kind of snack food type names. Again, kind of thinly traded, not super popular ETF. I wouldn't bother at all. I mean, if you're going to get into this, go into Coke or Pepsi. If you want something a little more speculative, Monster Energy. And then again, coffee, I think Starbucks is the best pure play out there. If you want to go Chinese coffee, you can go with Luckin, which has been a name that's been completely abused due to some fraud charges. So it has a lot more upside. And again, coffee tea mix and over in Asia, but primarily leading with tea in Asia, but now you have firms that are popping up that are leading with coffee and serving tea as well. So, all right. Hey, Michael Dell on the big screen there. All right here from Round Rock. All right, let's go ahead and take a look. We're going to switch now to our day trading stuff. And I did not get a chance to go through here, so let's look real time. So we've got Ulta up on earnings. Again, NTNX earnings. I saw that last night. And some money going in. CEO is going to retire out of NTNX. Don't know if that's good or bad thing. We'll see. Then you got Workday is up big. Don't know what MBUU is. We will take a look at that, as well as HIBB. So that's in the upside. Look at some other headlines here. That's all gapping up. Let's go find some gapping down. So BILL, not familiar. We'll take a look and see what that is. Okta on the way down, and DraftKings minus 2%. So really not a lot I like yet based off of those numbers. So we may look for some continuation, some stuff that's been down as well. All right, let's go over and we're going to look at the long names first. Again, this would be, it's with the market kind of gapping up. See how the market is going into the open here. Get a quick refresh. See if the futures are still in the green. Yeah, futures actually moved up a little bit. So Dow's over 100 into the green. So again, probably looking long first is your best bet, unless we find that perfect short. All right, let's look at Ulta. Trying to see how high it was back in the day. Can't zoom out any more than that. So obviously you have your jump up on earnings. There's your earnings from 224 up to 253. Did go all the way up to 270. So I don't like it. I think it's gapped up too much. But certainly you could put your money on that if you were looking for a long. NTNX, again, earnings, CEO, retirement, got an investment from Bain Capital, 21 to 24. That's a pretty good size gap. That's a zoom. I don't want zoom. All right. You know, that's just, so it's been kind of low. So it's gapping above to new highs. That's interesting. What is that percent gap? 12% gap, so a little more than we're looking for, but something to keep an eye on. All right, let's take a look at Workday. I have a little bit of this for an investment. Been on fire lately. Again, think of software technology. Here's the past couple days, been moving up 2016 up to 240. Let's see, that's a 10% gap up. It's got the volume. That's probably my favorite of the long so far. We shall see. MBUU, if I wrote that down right. Malibu Boats. Okay, hardly any volume, 56 up to 60. Don't see the headline associated with that, so we're not going to go into something that lightly traded. And let's look at HIBB. Hibbett Sports, all right. Gapping from 30 to 33, so about a 10% gap there. Man, this thing's been on fire. So earnings beat by 180, revenue, everything in line going forward. Up 12%, so that's a lot. See, all right, let's look at QEP. QEP Resources down below, that's too low of a point for me. I'm not interested in it, and we'll see. I saw Dell's gapping up now as well. You just saw the CEO on air there, 62 to 64. Quarterly results, an upgrade. So having several friends here in Round Rock that work at Dell. Dell has basically been maxed out. They can't get computers to people fast enough. So I kind of like that story. We'll keep an eye on Dell for long as well. 136, it does have the volume. Okay, looking at some short names. Let's look at DraftKings and see if they're affected by that downgrade. 39 to 38. It's been kind of all bouncing all the way around. It's had a nice run up lately. But again, it was up in the 40s all the way down to below 30, back up to 38, down below 32. So been kind of all over the map. We shall see. That might have some room to run to the downside today, but I have so much of it long, I don't like to take things short that I own long. Okay, light volume on Bill.com holdings, and I don't know what they are, so not really going to touch that. And then let's check on OTA. Low volume. I can't remember what they do. They're a tech firm of some sort. So not a lot of gap and low volume. Let's look at PLT. Plantronics. Okay, I like the way this chart's setting up. Set up from 22 down to 1360. All right, announces partial exit of investment by Sirius Capital. Low volume, but something to keep an eye on. PLT and then volume. So that might take a second to set up, but certainly this is a continuation. When I look at charts, it's like, okay, once this drops below 13, meaning nobody who's bought this stock in the past 2 months is making any money, you can get to a point where that's where people start selling at that point. So it does have that room to run to the downside. Again, we will need some volume there. And then I saw another one here. Let's see what's going on with NEO. NEO's had a huge run lately. And zoom in on that run. So this has been the move up. Saw a headline about, well, that's a positive headline about the ADS. Announces commencement of ADS offering. I don't know why that would be selling off based on that, but we'll certainly keep a look on it as a short. Okay, that's all I had in my notes. Let's go over here. I have 3 minutes to the open, so real quick through here. What am I looking at? I'm looking at Dell long, workday long, and then PLT short, but you got to wait for the volume. All right, nothing meeting our criteria there exactly. Again, looking 5 to 10% on the downside. Ollie's bargain, huh? Gapping down to 103. I do like how that chart looks. OLLI does have the volume. So I'm going to put that in for our short, and then 7th. Virtual retailing, blah, blah, blah. Was good. It's on a gapping up list from earlier. All right, probably not looking at that now. Gold. All right, nothing jumping off the chart there. Again, workday long, we talked about. Grosjean got a shout out, and that's been a name we've looked at. So again, this would be long. It fits our criteria there. So may end up looking at 3 longs today. All right, let's switch over to TD Ameritrade and get set up. Again, I don't have a short that I'm in love with. So the market seems to be holding strong today. So we'll go with SPY on the left. We'll do Grosjean on the left. That's what I'm looking at first for going long, and then workday long. And then Dell long. Going to switch this right-hand panel to short to PLT and Ollie right after the open. All right, so $16, thinking probably a 20-cent stop in here if you can get it, maybe 25-cent stop. And again, this is going long. Workday, again, at 240, you would need probably a $2 stop, and then you're probably going to need 60 cents to $1 on Dell if you take that. All right, 30 seconds to open. Welcome to the plays of the day. We have 4 panels that you see up there on the left-hand panel. We have SPY, so we can keep an idea where the market is. You know, we're in the green this morning. We'll see if that holds. We have 3 longs up here. We have Grosjean, It's gapping up 6%. So it fits our criteria with volume long, looking for about a 20-cent stop there. We've got workday is a long up over 10%, so we might bail on that pretty quick unless it screams higher. And then on the right side, Dell, 4%. We'll see how it is going into the open. So Dell's popping there. We're up to 5%. So we'll keep an eye on that. And workday looks like they're selling off. So I'm going to switch this middle panel to PLT. PLT is a short name that we're looking at, but it doesn't have much volume, so we're really not seeing anything move at all on PLT. Actually, it hasn't traded at all yet, so we shall see. It might be a delayed open. Okay, GrowGen's moving down a little bit here at the open, so that could be setting up for a long. Market's in the green here. Let's zoom a little bit. Well, it might open down in that first bar, and then here we go. All right, there, Pilot's opening a little bit. Dell popped up and selling them off back down. A little bit of red out of the market. All right, 50,000, let's see, 47,000 shares into PLT. Still in the heart of the envelope here, so we'll keep that pulled up. Let's look at OLLI. This is a short. Remind myself of this chart, see what it has. Okay, I like this. Down to 97 pre-market. It's below that level. Yeah, this is below that 103 level. So set up for Ollie. I'm going to call a trade here. Just saw it pop down. All right, we'll look at entering at, look at the volume, 80,000. 101.50 is where we're going to enter if it hits this trade. Again, OLLI, this is a short. Let's take it right here, 10. Yeah, I just grabbed it at 101.60 is the entry. So 101.60, we're going to need a $1.50 stop. It's going to make my math hard. So 103 as far as the 103.10 as far as your upper stop. Again, we're in this short. So 103.10, that's our upper limit. And let me get the arrow in here so you're completely convinced with what we're doing. All right, so we're in at 101.60. We have a $1.50 stop. So first target here, oops, get back to that. First target would be down at 110 cents. So here's our first target for 1R, and then 3 off of that is down to 97. This would be your 3R down here, right at that line. And then, of course, 98.60. That's what we're looking at for our 1, 2, 3Rs. Those are approximate. We do see a lot of red in the market, so that's going to help things. Pilot's really not moving, so we don't need to take a look at that. And GrowGen's not working either. So we'll get rid of Pilot. We're in Ollie. Let's take a look at Neo. Neo was a short, setting up for a short today. Nope, too good of a name. That's already backfilling. Again, you know I like Neo long. Decent red in the market. Go over to CNBC, and markets are still in the green, but barely so. Dow's only up 27 points. Well, it looks like Ollie's working against us. So again, if it hits the stop, you're out. We're out. So -1R. That's the first minus trade we've had all week. Been a very good week. So that is not working. Let's see. Neo, nope, not going to take that short. Let's get rid of Ollie, put in PLT, which was my second choice for short. Not moving a whole lot, barely volume. I do kind of like it setting up here with the 3. If this would kind of even out at the 1350 to 1360 level, We could take it in a couple minutes, but probably not. It's been a good week, so don't want to push that. Let's look at some other names out there. We use this middle pane. Look at our short names first. BILL, 2 L's. Not a lot of volume, and it moves moving higher. Not interested there. Okta. Not really selling off either. I am tempted to take this. So for us to take this, it would need to come all the way down to 1322 to take this short. Not in it yet, just putting it up there. That's where you'd want to take it. It's like if it's all the way down to there, then it should continue to sell off. We shall see. Keep one eye on that off to the right. Let's check DraftKings again. Oh, good. Almost back to even on the day. All right, that's it for the short names. Let's look at VXX. This will be long. See if volatility, you know, this has been down at 22. So let me show you the vol trade here. So again, straight down. It's 23, sorry, I thought it was 22. But down in here, now going into the election, long VXX, and not much of a day trade, but a good short-term investment, if you will, when you think swing trade, you know, a couple months, hold it through the election, and then see what happens. All right, other long names. Ulta, they'd gapped up 15%. Yeah, that's not holding. Again, Ulta's challenged because, again, it's an go get your hair done and stuff in store. So even though their online stuff has been okay, people aren't all that excited about holding that or their profit taking. Let's see, NTNX. This is one where the CEO is going to retire and they got an investment of capital. Still maintaining over 10% on the up day. See, Workday. Workday's holding nicely. Again, I don't see it running up for a day trade, but certainly run up, what, $6 there in the first couple minutes, sold off some, probably continues higher. Not enough for me to trade it. And then HIBB, Hibbett Sports, had gapped up on earnings, some profit taking there. Don't like how that's setting up. Dell, let's go back to Dell. We had this up earlier and it opened nicely. Again, when the CEO's on CNBC, that's another day trading philosophy, is to see what CEO goes on and see what they say, because that can be a good news story. So yeah, sold off 50 cents and then kind of screaming higher from there. So that's a nice trade long. That would have worked. All right, and last name QEF. Don't know what that name is. Oh, must have written it down wrong. So we'll keep Dell in there while we're talking. If you're dying to trade, this is about to hit 1322 on the downside. So let's enter at 1322. There it is. We need a 30-cent stop, so taking it up to 1352. I think that's plenty safe for the day. And again, this is a short. This is one of these all-day shorts. So basically, set your parameters, and then just let it do its thing as far as a trade. It's got plenty of volume now. And this is where you back this chart out a little bit. Why I like it is, again, falling off continuation, 20 days all the way down. So this is if you back the chart out to see how much we can get to the 1-year chart. So again, anyone who's bought it in the last, 2 months is now going to be in the red. So lots of room to go down to the downside here. All right, let's see, 52.22, so 30 cents off of this is 12.92 is our first R mark is down here. And again, just let that kind of continue to sell off. All right, let's look in the chat, see if anything. Yep, pre-birthday, turning 51 tomorrow. That's old. All right, nothing in the chat to talk about, nothing up in the Q&A, so we'll talk briefly about paper trading accounts. So not going to be a long spiel today, but so paper trading accounts, I know a couple of you are familiar and a couple of you are probably not. But again, a paper trading account, you can use this through TD Ameritrade has this function through their Thinkorswim. Basically, you can set up, you know, pick $100,000 or $1 million. I think TradeStation gives you $1 million. But yeah, you can kind of set whatever you want as far as, okay, here's my portfolio. And then all these switches and functionality as far as like, you know, how to short PLT or how to short OLLI. Some of, you know, you can take trades there. You can practice the functionality of what's the actual stop that you're hitting, you know, where you put your stop loss in first, because again, you want to protect yourself from losses. So when you put that in, it may take a second to kind of figure out how to do it. So that's what a paper trading account can do for you, to kind of get your hands warmed up as far as how long it takes and how quickly you can put these trades in. So that can be a good idea before you use real money. So when you make a mistake, it's just paper money. So you don't care. The second part is if you're trying to validate a thesis. So you know mine. I like the gap and go, 5 to 10%. I've studied it extensively. I tried to write my PhD thesis on it. I believe this works. I've seen others use it. Not everybody uses it. So if everybody used it, it would fill the void. But you know that I like this. But if you have something on your own that you're trying, you're like, well, okay, Steve mentioned the CEO and CNBC. So if you started you have CNBC on one screen, you see who goes on in the first 10 minutes of the day, and see what they say, and then take that trade. If you're trying to validate a thesis, or you've developed an algorithm to maybe do the gap and go strategy, whatever you're doing, you can go ahead and put that in a paper account and follow it for 3 months, 6 months, however long you want, to be able to actually see if your thesis holds true. So that's another reason to do that. All right. I'm looking at some other notes on screen. So yeah, test investment strategy. It's mostly trading, I would say. It's not really investing. I mean, if you're investing long in Apple because it's a great company, then you just buy the Apple stock. You don't need a paper account for that. Again, Schwab does not have it. So if you're a Schwab person, you do not have a paper trading account. We'll see if they have it after the merger. I would say they will, because they've already said they're going to keep the ThinkPipes platform, or Thinkorswim. ThinkPipes is what I use. Thinkorswim is what you use. Okay. That is it for paper trading. I'm taking a look at how the overall market's doing. Market's still in the green, so 0.2% up on the Dow, 0.5% on the NASDAQ, and 0.25% on the SPY. You see our trades working here, so we'll just let that cook. Now, if you're I have to get back to even on the day kind of person, and I get that you shouldn't let that affect you. But it's Friday. You're a human. We lost an R in OLLI, so here we are now, just hitting the 2R mark. So if you kill this early, 1262, you can do that. Nobody's going to tell you that you're wrong. But we did take this trade for a reason. Does it have room to go down another to 1232? Yeah, it does, and it may do it while we're talking. So I wouldn't be anxious to kill this trade. If you're here and you want to now design your trade on, now I don't want to lose money on the day, simply put your stop at 1292. So that way, if it does back up to 1292, you are even on the day, assuming you did all your risk unit math correctly. All right, let's take a look at the long and short across the market. Abbott Labs is up. Again, they're the ones with the $5 test, 15-minute results, big contract for them. Shopify, Tesla's just crazy. Looking on another screen to see what Tesla, see if it held 1,300. It is, or it's 2,300, right? Missed 1,000. 2295 right now. All right, a lot of names in the green. See what we have on the red side. Neo 5% selling off. There's your DraftKings down 3%. It was down earlier, more earlier. So not a whole lot of names in the red. So at a quick glance, again, this looks like it's setting up for a very positive Friday. So we shall see. Let's zoom in on the, well, we are on the 5-day. So again, it opened up down, but it looks, or it's up from the previous close, but it's down on the day. So we'll see. I don't know if we get back to new highs. That'd be kind of a heck of a move, but probably trading between the close of yesterday and 350. So 348, 350, probably hold that range today. We shall see. All right, let's check out our trade. And so up an hour and a half. So up to you whether you keep that or not. So that's all I've got for you guys today. Thanks so much for listening in. You obviously, for the new folks in the room, I send out an email every Sunday to get your new information. If I miss it on Sunday, it'll be early Monday that I send it out to everybody. But you have a different login every week, so nobody can come in and poach into the room without me knowing about it. With that, I hope you guys have a great weekend, and we will talk to you next week. Have a good one.